Well, welcome, Wellspring. We are ready to have another wellness seminar and demonstration on how to do practically some of the steps to become healthier and also steps to become more aware of how to nourish our body and nourish our family. Today, we are going to do a whole seminar doing a demonstration. It's a cooking demonstration. And what we have today is a way to entertain family members or friends for a three-course vegetarian meal. And I will be describing the ingredients that I'll be using. What I like to do when I entertain friends and family is that I start right away serving juice because for every meal, the juice or the drinks should be first. We should never eat while we are eating. And it is especially true if we are including vegetables in the drink. Like I have today, I have a mix of carrots, lemon, and orange juice. And so what we can do is to serve the juice and start nourishing and calming the thirst. We can always have a jar with water and a herb flavoring the water, or a cucumber, something that is hydrating for the body. And then at that time, we will not have the need to drink while we are eating. Okay, so this will be the first thing. So the guests today will enjoy a delicious, and I always add the word delicious, carrots, orange, and lemon juice. What we are going to have today is a soup that I will show how to quickly have it prep. So you can integrate soup almost in every meal. I like to serve soup not only during the winter, but even during the fall, during the spring. It is always nice to start the meal with a little soup. Even if it's not a big bowl, I like to have my kids, when they come back from school, to have a small plate of soup before they start having the dinner. So that will be a good, substantious, nourishing food. We are going to do a mix of lentils, green split peas, and we are going to have barley. And this is the one that you can choose. You can buy it in any grocery store. If you have the pearl barley, it is easier, you'll cook faster. And also, I'm going to add, we started to have in our supermarkets already having fresh corn. So I'm going to do the corn, and I will use the clay pot. And I have been mentioning in other cooking classes and seminars in Wellspring that we want to encourage people to cook in natural pots, either clay or stainless steel if you don't have the clay pots, and also ceramic. These are containers that will not interact with the food, that will never put a residue on the food, and also the food will not leave a residue, because the interaction of the two is what can cause either bacteria or mold growth. And also for aluminum pots, you actually put aluminum into the food. So it is an actual exchange that is occurring when you are cooking. So we want to keep things as neutral as possible. Plus, there are many benefits on cooking on clay. This is done here, and most of the time I refer that I do not sell these products, but I have researched what is best. And this cooker, I bring it everywhere. And if you have two pots, you can actually do two meals, and you just take them out. I already cook one of the meals that I'm going to be talking about, so I'm going to put the pot outside, and here we'll have a mix of wild grain, brown rice. And so here, to make the soups very easy every day, this is the trick that I have. So here I have a mix of onions, garlic, celery, pepper, and I have about 4 or 5 herbs. And you can use the herbs of your preference. If your family heritage is Italian, You probably want to have some thyme and oregano and basil in there because, again, right away your family will taste that. It will actually let them enjoy even better. If it's, Japanese ascendant, you can use some of the kombu sea vegetables and they will flavor what they like. So what I'm saying with this is that the soups, you can make it different every day, but use your baseline ingredients that you know your family is attracted to. So that way you can change from broccoli to carrots, and if the base is good, they will still eat it. So the way we can do a soup before we leave to go to work or right away when we come is that this one is a slow cooker. So you can do that before you leave home, and the fastest way to do it is that you don't have to do the saute of onion. You don't have to saute the garlic. Everything is pre-prepared, and it's always in the refrigerator, ready to be used in different meals. So we are going to use it in this soup. This is a gallon of spring natural water. So we are going to make the stock. And so the best way to do it and to have it in an economical way is that you have your ingredients ready. And I will recommend for you to use, I have a container with vegetarian stock. Pretty sure that I brought it with me. Huh. Can you stop? The taping is, huh. Okay. Anyway, well, oh, it's right here. I'm so sorry. So here I have, this is an organic vegetarian, no chicken broth. And it's very flavorful. The reason I mix the water and the stock is that I want to stretch the stock. When I buy this is already all organic ingredients. It has been already concentrated, so I don't have to use a whole lot. Plus, I'm going to add my own stew herbs and seasoning. So I put about 2 cups of water in there, and I'm going to mix it in here. And again, this container, it costs $2, but out of here I can make 3 or 4 meals. So I'm using this much in here, and that will be adding flavor and nutrients to my soup. So the idea here is to have a very nutritious soup. So I can leave the rest for some other meals, and that way I can save. So out of $2, I can use 1/3 of the container. Here I spend maybe $3 or $4 in onions, garlic, celery. If you are aware in your supermarket of the produce that are on sale, you just have to use that to make your stock, and it's all vegetarian. And the way I like to use is all organic. So I'm going to put about this much in my mix of water and vegetarian stock. Another big spoon. And if you can see here, you can see the pieces of garlic and onion and everything. This will be the actual base of the flavor. That way you don't depend on those chicken bouillon cubes with a lot of monosodium glutamate, lots of salt, and they put in there also coloring agents and flavoring agents. So my color and flavoring agents are right here. And remember, this can be just open it up from your refrigerator. The only thing that took time to do was this, and you can do it in one day, fill the whole jar, and you can make, 8-10 meals with this already prepared mix of flavors. So I have here from my garden also different things. I have growing thyme. This is thyme. So I'm going to put thyme in there. I am doing cilantro. So the way I do it is that I put the leaves and then I put the whole stem because there is a synergy of compounds in the stem of the cilantro and the leaves. So I'll just chop it and put the stem, and the stem I can easily pull them out once the soup is done. So right there, and here I have fresh parsley. So for the parsley, I do like this. I use the scissor and I chop my parsley in there. So this is fresh, this is from my garden, it's as local as you can get. And then in there, what I will do is that I will add freshly cut corn. So here I have the carrots that I'm going to use in 2 dishes. So I have one that is in just slice, and I will show how to cut when I'm doing the stir fry in there. So there are the vegetable, the carrots in there, and I will use a corn cup, and I'm going to use this so the corn doesn't fly everywhere. And I will cut the corn. So you will have the fresh corn in there. I don't like to use canned corn if I don't have to. So you will see that some of the string of the corn is there. I don't know if you know, but we call the hair of the corn that will be included in the soup. It's actually a natural anti-inflammatory and diuretic. It actually people use to make tea with the pieces of they call hair of the corn, and they make tea, and you can actually use that as the same as you use lasix as a diuretic. Same thing, of course, with no restriction on how much. I always like to put a little bit of lemon juice, and this is instead of using white vinegar or vinegar per se, I put a little bit of lemon juice. That's going to have a little kick in the acidity of the soup, and again, you don't have to use the wine for making the end flavor. So I'm going to put also on top of the corn and that, I'm going to put a little bit of the split peas, about this much, and the exact measurements I will have it in the wellnesswednesday.club. We will put the recipes in there. And again, this is barley. I'll put equal amounts. And I'll put some lentils. These are brown lentils. The different lentils, these will cook slower than the split ones, and so the green will give a base. It will thicken the soup without you adding any starch or anything to thicken up the soup. Okay, and here I have some cumin. So cumin adds a good flavor when you have barley and when you have lentils. Cumin is a natural seasoning of these grains. So we have a mix of grains in here, and then if you want, you can add the onions. If you are not having what I show you here, you can start the soup with the onions, saute, and do all the steps. But for quick meals, which is the goal for this cooking demo, you should always have it like this. I have this cover in here, and this is the soup. So the soup will be ready. This have 2 settings. It has a soup setting and it have a stew setting. So this will qualify more for a stew. So I'm going to put that in the stew. And by the time we finish with the rest of the meal, the soup should be ready. How about that? So I'm going to So it's going right now. So the next part of the meal is the grain portion. So we are going to have vegetables. It's a vegetarian menu. And what we have here is a mix of different types of rice. Why? The flavor will be better. So of course you can choose to do just plain brown rice. And you can do that 1, 2 days of the week. But after a while, just eating brown rice can get really boring. So what I would suggest you is to do a combination. Even if sometimes you miss eating white rice, you can prepare 2 cups of white rice, have it in the refrigerator, and mix it with your mix of brown rice. That way you can have ease on your flavor and your stomach. So I want to talk about the rice and the grains that I will be talking in the recipe, because I think it will be nice to remember that we are cooking for flavor but also for nutrition. This is the container of the rice that I use. This is a mix. So we have here sweet brown rice, short grain brown rice, long grain brown rice, whole grain webani, and whole grain black japonica rice. So the smell is different, of course, and you can serve it as is, just like that. And the way that I like to flavor a little bit is that I like to add at the end, after the rice is cooked, I can choose some of my herbs. So I use already thyme in the soup and parsley. Here I can choose to chop some basil and some sorrel, and I will include that in the rice as a decoration and also flavoring. So here again, this is from my garden. There's no pesticides or anything, it's organic. And so I will cut it. The stems of the sorrel, once you get accustomed to eat it, you won't bother much for that. But just in case, I'm going to remove that. And I've mentioned that sorrel is one of the highest vitamin C leaves that you can grow in your own garden. And the basil, everybody knows that basil is very flavorful. And sometimes what I do is that cooking the rice, I wait until the very end to add anything that I want the vitamins to survive. I don't put the things with the rice cooking because it takes in the clay pot, it takes about 35 40 minutes, and I don't want my vegetable to be cooking for that long, because otherwise I'll be eating the fiber with no the vitamins, and I already have a high fiber meal already in here. I don't need to add more. What I'm looking for are the vitamins, the phytonutrients in the green. Okay, any questions so far? Sorrel. Sorrel. Mm-hmm.
It's similar to, thyme, basil, or something like that?
Good question. It's not. It's something actually that's Polish, Norwegians, Germans. They know it and use it. Actually, many times they can it for using in the winter. Very high vitamin C content, and you can grow it. You will not find it in the stores. I have not found it yet. And the easiest plant to grow is a perennial, so it will come back every year. Isn't that nice? You don't have to seed it every year, and it's very healthy. I don't have any pest that can just attack. This is a deep green, lots of chlorophyll, a lemony flavor. My kids have it in the sandwich. Excellent. You grew up with that. There you go. So it is very healthy, and a pot outside in a square in a patio will do just fine. I already have it in the garden, and I just grab it from there. And why don't you have it to? No reason not to. And it has a nice appeal It's a green leaf. So this will be part of the meal. So this is it. I think the only thing that will take a longer time, it will be to do the stir fry. Oh, one more grain that I want to add. So this will be next to the soup. And you can add more corn if you want. This is going to be a small meal. And I want to talk about the other grain. It's called freak. Yeah, there you go, right here. So this is what I'm going to be talking about now. So it is a weird word. How do you pronounce this?
Freaky.
Yeah, it's almost as freaky. And I want to read to you because when I found, I'm always looking for something entertaining and delicious and wholesome. So it said, what do you get when when you take young green wheat loaded with nutrients and roasted to perfection? Something freaky. Crack freak, pronounced freaka, has more fiber than almost any other grain and is also a good source of protein, a complete protein. It has a low glycemic rating, is suitable for vegetarians, and its high fiber content promotes satiety. You know, that will make you feel full and not get hungry. Organic Freak has a nutty, slightly sweet flavor with a delicious hint of smokiness. Freak is extremely versatile and is often used in place of rice and quinoa in many recipes. Cracked freak cooks relatively quickly with a chewy texture similar to barley. Use it in salad, soups, cereals, stuffing, breads, and so much more. So today class, actually, I want to highlight this because as we get more into the whole grains and whole foods, we want to have options. We don't, life is too short to have it boring with the same thing every day. So I put this in a salad. You can eat it hot, but I already cook it for you. It is right here. So take a look at how it looks. And this is freak. All right.
Sort of like barley.
Barley, which is what I have here, it will be whitish and it will be more rounded. This is a little longer, and so this is is a is a wheat kernel that has been harvested early. So the earlier you harvest, the higher the nutrient content. When you let it go to develop full grain, in reality you're getting mostly starch. So we want to have here the nice protein, the nice digestible, very nice fiber, and also it is a source of nutrients because you can cook it and cook it in a slow cooker, it will retain the nutrients right there. So that's what I did. I cook that and then we are going to flavor. So I want to mix that to make a little salad with cucumbers that Josie nicely chopped. And we are going to flavor that. So we have here organic extra virgin olive oil. Again, I don't like to promote stores, but I do like to find who sells things the lowest price with the highest quality content. And this is the same price as you will buy non-organic olive oil. And it's in Costco. They have it at the same price. Now you know that most of the time organic is priced almost twice sometimes. But this one has the same price. And so of course I'm going to choose that because growing olives for many people they include pesticides in their agriculture practices. And the lower load of toxic that we can get into our body, the better. Again, I don't say that you have to have organic everything, but when you're going to pay the same price, you might as well get the organic. So what I want to do is that I want to chop a little bit of onions to flavor this, just a little bit. And if you have green onions, better, so you probably don't want to taste the pieces. But I can do it very small, and it's just to have a hint. Sometimes I put onions and garlic that are uncooked because I don't have to add a lot of salt to the plate. And that will give the people a little kick without looking for that saltiness. So,
Chives work as well.
yes.
Chives grow very well in Europe.
And there is one type of chives that is growing right now is garlic chives. It has the garlic that you're growing is shooting the green parts and it tastes garlicky. So if you don't want to actually encounter a piece of garlic in your mouth, you can just choose the leaves and it would flavor just fine. So I'll put some onions in there and I'll put some cilantro. So I'm going to make an informal, maybe tabbouleh, but it will be even more nutritious. So the cilantro, if you start harvesting your cilantro now in your garden, you should avoid for the cilantro to develop the seeds. That way it can give you more leaves and more leaves and more leaves. But if you let it go to seed, cilantro will stop growing and you'll have to plant another plant of cilantro. But since we are in Chicago and we want to get the longest growth in our plants before the cold weather comes, you probably want to encourage your plants to just put another leaves.
So you pull the parts off that look like they're going to seed?
That's right.
Because I have cilantro, it's just gone to seed.
Don't let it go to seed. Use now all the seed heads and all the little flower buds. Take them off, chop them. They have a concentrated form of nutrients right there, and you will keep the plants shooting more leaves. Okay, we're gonna put some cucumber in there and carrots. I have it shredded, and that's another thing that I keep in the refrigerator, either for making quick smoothies or quick stir fry or everything. I have my carrots shredded all the time, even for sandwiches. If you have to, that's what I talk about quick vegetarian meals. That if you have things already prepared in a glass color jar, nicely closed and stuck in the refrigerator, everything is locked in there. You don't have to be spending time chopping around because this is the nightmare of the person. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of chopping. Well, reduce that. You can choose one day for do major chopping. And if you don't have 3 young slaves at home like I do, my daughter is not laughing, then you do yourself in one morning or 2 or 3 hours, get it out of the way and get it done. I'm going to have some lemon juice that I already have squeezed. And again, the vitamin C will be there. This is like a myth that people say, oh, the vitamin C is gone. No, it's not gone. You preserve that. You have refrigerator. There are many parts of the world where people do not have refrigerator. So they have to do, the fresh cutting. So you can do it that way. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to add, this is a nice one. Again, somebody will have to pay me for this, but anyway, Trader Joe's have this chili lime. It costs $2.25. It goes a long way, and it just add a hint of lime and chilies. Nice and delicious, and you change the flavor. I will not put cumin in here because I'm going to have the flavor of cumin in the soup. So this will be nice and flavorful. It has no MSG, no salt, and you'll be just adding, masking what I want to avoid. A lot of salt, a lot of oil, but plenty of flavor. So we will mix this like this. Any questions?
Can you come into it at my house?
After Carlos' house, I'll go to yours. He always asks, can you just come to my house? And this will be just this plate by itself. If you want to choose a corn tortilla, and then you add some salsa or some other item. You can use that. Warm up your tortilla. If you are from Colombia, you can make arepas and make the arepas with the masa that is sold everywhere. And really, that will be a very inexpensive meal and very nutritious. So,
Guacamole might be good with that.
yes, you can have guacamole and you can use pita too, but this will be protein, carbohydrates, and also some vegetables in there. Almost like a full meal. In fact, you can take that for lunch and have a separate container with your tortillas or your pita and nicely sit down at work and mix the two. Nice, and you can avoid the drive-through. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that meal is done. How about that?
Wow.
And again, we are saving some of the ingredients. All of this, again, organic and everything, 3 or 4 meals out of this. So you divide that and you mix it with water and you are adding flavoring. So you are not diluting too much the flavor because you are going to add some of the fresh ingredients that you want. So that's it. And then the last part of the meal is going to be the stir fry. That will be probably if you're having guests or friends over, you can have everything prep and then do this so it will be nice and warm. It's always nice to have a warm dish served right away in front of your family or your friends because that increases the appetite. Here I have zucchini, nicely chopped by a model that we have coming into our meetings. And so we have broccoli. So if you get $1.99 per pound broccoli on the supermarket and you take all this broccoli, so this is from one big head and one small one. And I still have another head at home. So probably that could be $1.25 in here. And here the zucchinis, it was 69 cents per pound. So there was one full zucchini in there or two?
One and a small.
One and a small one. So that could be adding another, $1.30 in there. And then you are using this for quite a while. So I do like to have my organic minced garlic. That is a nice way that you can add delicious flavor. And I have mentioned this before, the best deal in Whole Foods. This is a container. It comes vacuum packed, so you won't find it in the refrigerator. You find it actually in the Oriental section. And is by the Ginger people. Is organic, USDA organic means garlic with nothing but garlic added, no preservative, nothing. It's just vacuum packed. And it is almost $3. Now the convenience of that is that you have it already prepared for you because you can choose to grind your own garlic and you can do that some other time. But if you are on a budget and on a time schedule, like probably all of us, this is a nice way. And then this is garlic. I don't typically use garlic. I'm using this in the recipe like this. I prepare the fresh garlic because when I crush it and let it sit for a little while, it actually developed the active compound in garlic. But I did not have at home when I was bringing my ingredients, so I'm going to do this here. And what I will do is that I will do the demo. This, I think, the best healthy way to do stir fry. Now, I have at home a stainless steel wok that I like to use. I'm planning to use this one, but if you can have the stainless steel, much better. This one is found anywhere and it's used for Oriental dishes, and it is a bigger container than what I have. But again, I will encourage you to do that. What I do for stir fry is not oil, because when I'm doing a higher heat than normal, which is what I will do here, I need oil that has a high heat index that can tolerate the heat without burning or turning rancid or anything. And coconut oil is the best choice. So I am going to use this one here to get the coconut. And this is from Crisco, the one company that has this not good fats. But again, this one is the organic, pure coconut, and it has been refined so it doesn't burn, it doesn't smoke. The other coconut that I use is not refined, it's the natural cold press. But for high heat, it's better to use this. Always keep in mind that good fats can turn into bad fats if you heat them high. Even the best fat, I wouldn't do that with organic extra virgin olive oil because that will smoke the minutes, the second that I will turn this on, and then that turns into something really bad for you. All right? So I'm going to start here. So the coconut will melt. I will add the garlic and the ginger while the coconut is melting. So we'll start to add the flavor to the coconut. So flavors dissolve in three things: in alcohol, in water, or in oil. These are the three universal solvents for the flavors. And so this, it will be the one we are using today. If we can get a small spoon, there you go. I'm going to add, for the vegetables I'm planning, this much ginger. Yes. And about this much garlic in here. And the one that I'm going to cook first will be the one that will take the longer. The broccolis with the stem will cook a little longer. So I'm going to add that first. I'm going to mix the ginger and the garlic and put the broccoli right away. Notice that I'm not adding any water or anything at this point. I want to get the flavor of the broccoli out. So it will be flavorful by the time I add the other ingredients. So I'm just tossing this around. And it will start to cook in there. So this will be your cooked vegetable of the menu. We'll have the soup, we'll have the rice, and then we'll have these vegetables. We can cover this, and then I will add some of the onions for the stir fry. I will add about this much for the vegetables that I'm doing. The onions will go from fresh to caramelized. That way, with no water, it is actually putting the flavor in any water content that the broccoli has. Remember that I mentioned that the flavors dissolve in either water, alcohol, or oil? Well, right now, I'm putting flavor to the vegetable. That's why they will not taste bland when we will eat it later on. And right there, already the leaves of the broccoli are at the point where I want them. So now I will add a vegetable that will add some water to this by itself. And that will be the zucchini. I will add this much. And so as the stem of the broccoli cooks, the release of the water of the zucchini will not let this burn. Okay? At this point, I have not added any salt, right? No salt. And I like to put at this point some of my herbs. So this one is Greek oregano. I'm going to take the lower bottom leaves like this, and I can chop it right on front, just with my fingers like that. I'm releasing the compounds, and the flavor will be right in there. Okay, so this is oregano. And now I will add the liquid aminos that mixed with the ginger and the garlic will give this delicious flavor of Oriental food. So we'll go like this with the spray. And instead of doing the liquid that will go into the pan and will burn it real quick, I'm flavoring the actual vegetable. And some of the liquid that comes in contact with the pan will boil right away. This is all the salt that this dish will have. So people that are conscious about their salt content will be okay. Actually, the dish is done, already done. So we have the soup, we have the rice, and we have the stir-fried vegetables. That way, I did a long time, but I can actually make this at home in 10-15 minutes. Of course, before I leave home, I can have the soup cooking for me. Everything will be done, and I can make this real quick. Okay? So, any questions about this? No water. Mm-hmm. So soggy. And what will happen here, the chemistry going on is that water coming from the stem of the broccoli and from the zucchini without losing the structure will give the nice appeal in the appearance and also the flavor. And the garlic and the ginger did not burn in here. It actually got into the vegetables. Okay? And because you drank water before we start, um, you served your family or your guests the glasses of juice or water. No drinking while you're eating. No drinking. Okay? Any questions about the ingredients or anything? Let me check if I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, and I mentioned the black quinoa. So it's one that you can add. So the next soup, next variety, you can leave the barley out and add the quinoa. And we have different type of quinoa. This one opens up a little bit and gives that nutty flavor to your soup. So the soup will be nourishing. You can serve it with whole grain pieces of bread or whole grain crackers. And then you can have your mix of freak and cucumbers and salad as a salad. And then you stir fry next to your blends of rice. Quick and delicious and low cost. All right. All right. Well, we can enjoy and go home.